Welcome to another edition of Class Session. I'm your host, Professor Art, and today I have another great guest. Go by the name of Smoke.
Ice on my neck, Minnesota on me. Shit pop like soda on me. Yeah, I need to stop popping them tags. I used to be broke with swag.
Hey, what's up, my
Yeah,
brother?
sir. What's good, bro?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm chilling, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's your week been, man?
A little hectic, a little busy, just working every day, man.
Now, when you say work, are you speaking about like your rapping career work? Or
Yeah, actually both. Because,
Both?
I still work in the real world, you feel me? I'm still stacking my bread, putting in for studio time, putting in for music and all that. But at the same time, the music never stops. Every day, I'm always going over my music, editing stuff, and just fucking around with stuff. Oh, my bad. I don't know if I'm
Nah,
allowed to
go
curse.
ahead. Go ahead.
But yeah, so it's kind of both. They go hand in hand. Like I'm working and I'm also working. So
No, I like that you said that because most people don't realize that you got to take care of your reality first before you try to pursue, what I mean, your
Exactly.
passion and your dream. Because
Yeah.
your reality is going to help you take care of your passion and your dream. So I'm glad you're speaking on that, man. That's dope. Who
Facts.
who talked some sense into you, man?
well, obviously, I'm a Willie P alum, so I'm a college grad, and my head was on straight well before I even started music. And plus, music is the whole industry, and everything you want to do as far as music is expensive. Everything is money. Everything is just a cost. So I already knew that, and I know that I got to work and really apply myself.
I'm glad that you brought up the college grad because I wanted to talk about that. In the Pop Out song, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
There's a line I said I want to read. You said, "Finish school and you know I ain't drop out."
Yeah.
I'm not a rapper, but it's something like that. Why was that important to you? Why was it important for you to finish school and get your degree?
It was important for me because one, obviously, there's a sense of reality of if this music thing eventually comes to an end, I still need something to fall back on. But another thing I hang my hat on with my music is just being myself. And I think a lot of people like to, not include school or anything like that in their music. And for me, college was a big part of my life. So I like to include that in my music and let people know that it's cool to be in school.
Okay, so would you say your degree is technically your backup plan? Is that
Yeah.
is that where you're looking at it?
Yeah, definitely.
What'd you major in?
I majored in sociology. It was actually a double major. I majored in sociology and criminal justice, but I kind of like halfway through college, I already knew that I had no interest in being a cop or like being a part of the criminal justice system. So I had to double up on majors and just still stick on my path and not waste my money.
You're going against the grain, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
rapping, cops, that's not
Yeah,
something that
exactly.
that goes together. So
I mean, I also like as far as like my field, I want to possibly dive into being a probations officer.
Okay.
And that's helping the people who've already been affected by the system.
okay.
Because I realize that like being a cop, one cop isn't going to change the entire corrupt criminal justice system. So I'd rather be a probations and help people that are already affected.
Yeah. Explain your like upbringing, because you sound like you're passionate about your community. You're passionate about trying to change the system. So did you have any issue in your upbringing as far as with the law or?
My father did 8 years in prison.
Okay.
He went in when I was 4. He didn't come out till I was 12, but he stayed in my ear all throughout those 8 years. He called me every month, wrote me every other month, and I guess you could say I had a like a rough upbringing, but at the same time I moved around a lot. I might have switched between urban and suburban schools all throughout my life. I went to all white, all black elementary school, and then a black middle school, then a white middle school, then a white high school, then back to a black high school, then went to a private college that was all white, then transferred to Willie P that was mostly black. Like I literally flipped back and forth my entire life. So like that's kind of where like my versatility and like I'm sometimes I'm going against the grain, as you say. Like it's kind of been that way for me.
Speak a little bit more about your dad. I like that. I like to have that conversation because that's not something that's likely, I guess,
yeah.
especially in a black environment. Black father are usually the stereotype to leave and not care. So that's interesting that you said, you know, even though your dad was in this predicament, he was still able to pause. He was gotta pause that. He was still able to, you know, keep in contact with you and, you know, writing you and all that stuff. So talk a little bit about that, man. That's something that's special.
Yeah, my dad, he really he inspired me like a lot, like to the max. Like he might not necessarily made the best decisions in his past, but since I've known him, man's amazing. Like,
Is that not to cut you off, but is that part of the reason why you got your degree? Is that moving forward and being a better person than your dad?
Yeah, I want to say like my dad kind of like, well, as a kid and, you know, watching my dad go through this progression and go through prison and all that stuff, it always told me like, it showed me what not to do and what route not to go down. And I just knew that like going to college and, you know, doing things by the book was going to make him and my mother happy. And I respected that a lot. And I never wanted to let them down. And I think like a lot of people have like rough childhoods or rough relationships with their parents. But like me, I've had a great relationship with both of my parents like all my life. And I'm 100% thankful for that, because my cousin, who's also the same age as me and practically grew up under the same roof, almost under our grandmother's house all the time, every other day. And his father was in the same town as us and wasn't around. And my dad was in jail, and I was talking to him, writing him, visiting him.
He was
all
more
that stuff
active in your life.
Yeah. So like that opened my eyes as a kid to just appreciate that I have a black dad that's still in my life. And even when he got out of jail, he was still going to literally every game I had. I played all sports, so he went to all my games. He was even going to my practices. Like he was just And the crazy thing is, like, I never like didn't appreciate it. I appreciated it all the way through, and still to this day, he actually like called me while I was on my way here. Like when we don't talk for a couple days, he calls me all the time. So.
That's dope. That's important in our community.
Yeah.
Because like I said, that's not something that's like an everyday thing. A lot of dads aren't really involved in their kids' life. You know, my dad wasn't heavily involved in my life, but you know, it's always dope to see that in other people, you know, keeping up that, like, trying to break that tradition. So that's great to see, because I know definitely just knowing from your experience, I feel like you're going to break that generational curse and try to do better and try to stay in your kid's life. So that's dope. So with everything that you were involved in, you know, the traveling from different cities and being here and there, when did you pick up on rapping? When did you start?
Well, like all my life, I was a big time music head. So like I kind of listened to everybody in the realm of hip hop, and I never was like one way with who I listened to or like what music I was like focused in. I always was around. I listened to everything, so I was always heavily like invested in music without necessarily becoming a rapper. And I think like in high school, early college, everybody wanted to be a rapper, and everybody had a SoundCloud link, and like for me, I didn't want to be one of those guys. So I was like, I'm going to pass on it. But then, like, as I was going through college and I started to learn more about myself, I learned that you got to just do what you want to do and not care about what other route anybody else is doing or anything like that. And that's when I was like, I'm going to do this, you know? And here I am.
I respect that. And I want to say something. I think the mentality that people have, you know, everyone's doing this, so I shouldn't be doing this. I think that's a terrible mentality because I always say this: we have 7-point-something billion people in this world. I know everyone's doing this, but we have a space for this. Think about it. Like, we have a lot of white people doing the same thing. But why every time a black man want to do something, we always say, oh man, everyone else is, another black person's doing this, so I don't want to be in that space. No, white people don't say that. Oh, this man's doing this, all right, I'm gonna go do this. That's what they say. Why can't we think like that? So I hate when people say that. Everyone's doing this, so let me fall back, especially with music. They say that a lot, you know, oh, you want to rap again? Everybody else is doing that. What do you mean? There's a space for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's 7 billion people in this world. Someone's gonna appreciate what you're doing. Someone has to. So there's gonna be an ear for what you're doing. Facts. So I'm glad you started picking it up, because that I'm not someone that appreciate what you're doing. Man.
Appreciate it, man. Definitely.
I mess with it. But how tough was it creating music and being a college student, man? That's got to be hard.
At first it was kind of tough. I mean, I think the toughest part is like getting started. And I think once you break out that shell of like getting started, because it's like with becoming a rapper and like really going at it with this music stuff, at first it's like you just stick your little toe in there and then you're like, okay, I'm not sure. But then it's another thing to just go in and just dive in and just go at it 100%. And once you do that and people see that you do that, they're gonna respect it. Whether your music is trash, whether it's nice, whatever it is, people are gonna respect it if they see that you're 100% committed to this.
Confidence is always appreciated. Exactly. People draw to confident people. That's why women like confident men. I don't care how ugly you are. If you approach a female, think about it. You mostly see beautiful girls and you look at their boyfriends and you're like, how is this? How does this even add up? But women like confident guys, and so I feel like people are attractive or they draw to confident things. So, like you just said, that's perfect. Go for it. Go 100% for it, and people are gonna gravitate towards it. But what lesson did that teach you? Did that teach you how to hustle? Did that teach you how to stay on top of things? Because, like I said, it's hard being in college and trying to create.
Exactly. I think. It was kind of humbling, and it was kind of like I learned the importance of like consistency. And I think with college, obviously, like I was in college, so I didn't have that much money coming around, but stew time was expensive. Everything was expensive when like you want your stuff to sound like quality.
Yes.
Like I didn't want to go to somebody's studio in their room or something like that. Which block. Isn't bad, because I've been to room studios that sound great.
Yeah.
But like I didn't want that amateur SoundCloud sound. So I was willing to pay for whatever quality, whatever it took to sound good. And I think that was just like I was in school and I was just scraping money together for studio time. I would spend my last on it. I worked as a DA.
Okay.
So those checks were like $1.80, $1.60.
Hey, they got you the time.
And the studio time was like $40 an hour. So I'll spend like 3-4 hours. That's all my bread, literally on the studio time. Like, and that shit was just like, it was very humbling, because like you see your money in your account and you're choosing for all this to just go away when you go to the studio. Not on food, not on clothes, not on, it's just music. And you know that your music isn't about to blow up and you're gonna get this money back next week or something. Like that money is gone. Like
it's an investment.
Yeah, it's an investment. And it's like with consistency, you just have to constantly just stay at it and keep investing in yourself. And I realized that with every studio session, I got better and better every single time. And that's why I just kept putting money in it, because I'm like, I'm just gonna keep getting better and better. So I'm gonna just keep investing and keep investing.
That's dope. All right, so you go by SmokeNHS.
Yeah.
Yo, how the hell did this name get?
All right.
How you get this name, man?
Smoke, I'm gonna start with Smoke. Around my way, me and my group of friends, we all have nicknames and stuff like that. And I decided to call myself Smoke because, bringing it back, my dad used to be called Smoke growing up. Yeah, except he was Smoke because he was so dark. So that was his nickname exactly. So like I took on the nickname because obviously like I have a good relationship with my dad, and like I use smoke in a different term because I used to smoke with the best of them. So you feel me? So I took it on, and then the NHS came with the group that me and my friends are all in. We're all a part of NHS, and that stands for Never Had Shit. So yeah, it's I put it together, SmokeNH. And I think like Smoke alone was just too plain, like there's 1,000,001 smokes, whatever.
Yeah.
So I needed something, and I didn't want to go by Big Smoke all the time. So SmokeNH was just, it's a little more fluent, so I went with that.
You said that's not just you. You have a couple of your other friends
Yeah.
that are part of the NHS. Is that
Yeah.
something that you might want to consider into either a group or a label? Or
Yeah, it's more so like a label. Like if I want to compare it to something, it's like Meek and Dream Chasers.
Okay.
Like it's not like we're all one group and we all rap and stuff like that. We got
multiple talents.
Yeah, we got 2 other rappers, we got videographers, we got people who aren't even in the music game. They just are cool with us. They came up with us and they never had shit. So they with us. We got people kind of everywhere. Like we're very versatile. We got somebody in the army that's NHS. Like we got a teacher that's NHS. Like, and we got my 2 boys. Shout out to Hollywood and Deuce. They're balling at Temple right now. Temple football. Deuce.
So you got a
Damn near
whole,
all- yeah.
everyone's just different.
Yeah, everybody's on their own path, but we're all trying to just come up together. You feel me?
I like that. All right, let's talk about the music a little more.
Okay.
I listened to your second EP. I don't know if it was your second EP. Correct me, but the I'm Different, was that your second EP?
Well, I'm Different was actually like my honestly, technically, yeah, it was my second. But like,
what I thought.
you know me, I'm like, with me and music, like I'll put out a project and then 2 months later I'm working on the next one. And my mentality for that last project was like, yeah, I was asked, this is the new shit. This is, you feel me? And like with SoundCloud, like I had a project before that was Level Up. I think, and that was like my first project ever. I started rapping in August, and then by the end of the summer, I dropped Level Up. So like that EP, I always try to forget about it. I think I might have took it off SoundCloud, like, and then I think I'm Different came on.
No. Level Up is still there because I wanted to ask you about that. I wanted to ask you about like
Yeah, I
where
probably
were you
kept
during
like
that
1 or
time
2
when
songs.
Like where were you during that time? Like
Yeah.
where was your mindset at when you were making
Yeah, that
Level
was
Up?
when
It's
I
different.
first started rapping, and like when you first start rapping, it's like it takes a while for you to find yourself,
Find yourself,
and find
that's
your
true.
sound and find your identity as a rapper. And I think I'm still finding myself now, but like I'm way more developed than what I was back then. But that was my first EP, and like once again, like NHS is so different, and like we have a lot of street and hood niggas in NHS. So like at that time when I first started rapping, I felt like I had to be something that I really wasn't. And I think like you could kind of see it in Level Up. I'm kind of like mixing around and you know trying different things, but I think the Level Up I really didn't find myself yet, and it's kind of like clear.
So going back to I'm Different, do you feel like you're a different artist compared to everyone else that's out here?
Definitely. I think that's kind of what I'm gearing towards now, is just being myself. And I think like, yeah, I'm different because as you even mentioned, like I bring up school and I bring up graduating.
Yeah, that's different. That's
exactly.
different.
I bring up my life in my music, and I know that I'm a different person, so my music is gonna come out different.
How do you feel about the sound of Jersey right now?
Honestly, I think Jersey is really starting to come up.
You think so?
I say that because like now that I'm like in the music gang, and now that I'm like knowing other Jersey artists and knowing what's going on, Jersey got a lot of talent, and it's like this crabs in a barrel thing where like no one could like make it out of Jersey without you know. But I'm seeing a lot of young, nice talent that are like coming up. Like I've been doing a lot of shows lately, so I've been around other young artists, and they're talented as hell. Like I'm impressed, and I think like on a bigger scale, we got a couple artists like Coil Ray, Fatboy SSE, and other Jersey artists that are coming up. Even Sue Surf now is like finally getting the appraisal that he needs.
You consider him an artist?
Yeah, he's a rapper, definitely.
But I feel like he's more in a battle rap.
I mean, that's where he came up at. But if you've listened to like his tapes and his projects, like
he could create music.
Yeah, like he makes songs.
Wow.
Like,
yeah, I've always considered him as like battle rap.
But at the same time, me too, because I don't. If you go on my phone, I don't have Sue Surf projects on my phone, but I've listened to real songs by Sue Surf, and
you respect it.
Yeah, it's music. Like, yeah, I would definitely respect it. I wouldn't like categorize him into battle rap.
What's it gonna take for Jersey or any other sound to take over like Atlanta has been taking over?
Well, it would definitely have to start with unity.
And that's all you see from the cast from Atlanta.
Yeah.
I always tell people, I've never seen another state support each other, like artist-wise, as the cast from Atlanta.
They do collabs and they team up and they
bring each other up.
Exactly, because like me, I was a big time Migos fan way before Bad and Bougie. I'll get that out right now. I was a Migos fan way before Bad and Bougie, and I used to tell everybody about the Migos. They all used to laugh and clown me and all that. Then Bad and Bougie came out, and then now everybody's all Migos. But I've been on them. And when I was even following them around, like on their YouTubes and stuff like that, you could see Lil Baby in the background, young as heck, like not just around. And you could see some of the younger artists that are big now that were around them way back when. Like even Rich the Kid kind of came up with Migo Gang too. And it was like, it just with Atlanta, it's like everybody is just conform. You don't even hear of like Atlanta artists beefing with each other
at all because they're unified.
And then here we are. We got Jersey where almost nobody really made it, and Jersey rappers are beefing all the time with each other.
All the time. It's like the mentality has to change because I feel like if one person makes it, that's an opportunity for everyone else.
It's a gate.
It's that easy. If one person make it. If you can push one person to make it out, that's more ears to your state.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people tuning in.
It's a gate.
And a lot of people want to know, what else do we have in Jersey? What else can we pay attention to?
Like example, Coyle Ray. Coyle Ray was Jersey. She came up through Jersey, ended up dating Trippie Redd, who's also I fuck with Trippie Redd heavy. Ended up fucking with Trippie Redd.
My man Justice, he fuck with Trippie hard.
She ended up fucking with Trippie Redd heavy, and then boom, I opened up for her. I opened up for Coyle Ray. I meet her, we talk, we chop it up, and then I chop it up with her manager. So now I got her manager's number, and now we're kind of cool or whatever, and that's a gate. Coyle Ray got 8 million followers on Instagram. Like
that's hard.
She has a following, and that's one gate. Fatboy SSE, I don't know if you know Fedgy. He goes to Willie P. He's I think he's still going to Willie P, or maybe he might not be going to Willie P. But age-wise, he should still be at Willie P. Like age-wise, he probably would still be a junior if he's still going here. Okay. I'm not sure. Shout out to Fedgy. He's also real close to Fatboy SSE's camp. Like he goes with them everywhere. He's on Fatboy SSE's page on IG, everything. I met Fedgy at Willie P, and he came and shot a music video for me and everything, and that's another gate.
That's a gate, yeah.
The more Jersey artists that make it, it's more opportunities.
It's really that easy. It's not just with music; it's with anything. You know, any creative space, people want to hate and they want to be like,
exactly.
No, push each other. Whoever makes it out, don't hate on that. That's an opportunity for you to leave. Also,
exactly.
Like that's just crazy. But let's talk about. I don't want to butcher it. Is it Cozy tape? The Cozy
in the Heat.
Cozy in the Heat. Is that?
Yeah, Cozy in the Heat.
Pronounce it for me before I
Cozy in the Heat.
So it's Cozy in the Heat.
Yeah.
Okay. I talk about that. Why you named the tape that?
I named the tape that because one, like I'm really like a cozy person. Like I wear sweats and I wear all that stuff no matter what the degrees is. Even in the spring semester, it starts getting hot towards the end of the semester. I was still out there in sweats. I was still out there dressed cozy. Like,
see why I was gonna ask the
Yeah, cozy is like, it's almost like a mentality at the same time, because cozy goes with like being comfortable.
Okay.
And I was cozy everywhere I went because I was comfortable everywhere I went. And that it was just a mentality for me. And I think once again, it was like another contradiction, cozy and being in the heat. Yeah. So it kind of went with me because I feel like I'm a contradiction.
That's dope. I want to talk about one thing that caught my eyes was a track list. 6 songs. That's been a trend, like short songs on EP. What do you? Is it going to be? Is it EP?
Yeah, it's
short
EP.
songs on EPs, but like, why is that? Why 6 songs?
Okay. Well,
don't think that's too short.
One, I feel like being like a new artist and being like underground, I learned that it's better to not flood the music industry with a lot of songs at once, because a lot of people are gonna listen to the intro, listen to one more, and then call it a day. You know, so I think it's better to flood with singles and like have each song have its recognition. I initially, with this EP, I wanted to drop a song every 2 weeks until it was done. Okay. And then I was like, I'm gonna just drop 5-6 songs and they'll listen through it. And I think another thing with having 6 songs, I don't know if you know this, but I pledged a fraternity, and my number was number 6. So it was 6 songs.
But here's my concern with that, right? Because it's a thing. Like I said, it's a thing that's been happening in the industry and just hip hop period. But my thing is, if you give people more songs, isn't that more options for them to pick from? Yeah. But I kind of like I like what you're saying too. But I've always had this assumption that if you give people more, then they have more to pick from than less. You know what I'm saying?
I learned with music, it's like, no matter how good or how many songs you have, it all depends on how you market and how you deliver them.
That's a fact, yeah.
And I think, all right, let's say there's like 10, 12 songs on here. They can all be fire. There's songs that people are never even gonna listen to, that are never even gonna,
that's a fact.
It's never gonna be able to reach them. You know, like I still think there's some songs on I'm Different that are good enough that could, if I released it now, everybody would be like, "Oh, when'd you make this?" And I'll be like, "I've been made this." So, exactly. So like, I feel like delivering songs one at a time and giving each song its space and its time, it could get its appreciation.
No, I agree with that. I think people, exactly, your mindset is right. People, when they listen to music, especially the average consumers, they just want to find what's in your project that's popping, what's in your project that they can vibe to. Once they find that, they're not gonna listen to the entire thing. They're not even gonna listen to it. You know what I mean? Exactly. Even with established artists, I can't even front like certain artists that I don't know, even if they're big names. But if I don't know them, I'm not gonna click through the whole thing. I'm only going to a couple of them, and all right, cool.
So now imagine if you're not an established artist and you're underground. You feel me?
That's a good marketing scheme right there. I like that. All right, so a tragedy happened, over the last when was it? The Sunday, I believe. Sunday morning, Juice WRLD died. I kind of wanted to ask you, as a young man, as a young entertainer, how did that impact? Did that impact you at all? Like,
honestly, I was very upset. Because honestly, I'm a big Juice WRLD fan, and once again, I was very early onto Juice WRLD before Lucid Dreams blew up and was all over the radio for months. I was already on the Juice WRLD, and I think Juice WRLD was, in our younger generation, definitely number one amongst all the other artists in the newer generation as far as numbers, as far as
he did his number thing.
He was doing his numbers before he passed away. Like his numbers were already
that's a fact.
Sturdy, you feel me? So I think like Juice WRLD, his talent and his potential was crazy through the roof. Like he had the song making ability, and at the same time he still could rap. And I think
He can freestyle his ass off.
And that's what kind of taught me something. It taught me something because, like, if you go on his music projects, he doesn't really show his lyrical ability like that. And that's because he knows the game and he knows what's gonna sell and he knows what's gonna pop.
That's it.
So he puts that on his project, but then every time he goes to a interview, every time he goes anywhere else, he shows his other side and he shows that he could really rap and he really establishes himself in that way. And I respected that. And another thing with Juice WRLD is that he was himself.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy because I was actually like going through some things as far as like a relationship recently, and I was listening to Death Race for Love for a while. There's a lot of songs on there and there's a lot of fire on there. And the crazy thing is, like, I was just talking to somebody about Juice WRLD, and then 2-3 days later he passes away. And I was shocked. Like I couldn't believe it. I was looking at the screen and I was like, no way. Like I'm waiting for the prank. I'm waiting for the fake news, and I just couldn't believe it.
A funny story. Actually, it's not funny. Rest in peace to Nip. But I was at a barbershop a day before Nip passed away, and me and my barber we were arguing about we weren't arguing, but we were talking about why Victory Laps didn't win a Grammy, and we were just talking about how great that album was.
Yeah.
And then the next day, Nip passed away. I woke up and I was like, "No, it's fake. This can't be real."
And I remember exactly
confused.
where I was at where Nip died. I was a DA and I was working up top in Pioneer, and I'm on my phone. You know, DA, you just on your phone like nonstop. I was like one of the first people to like get the notification like within my friend group, and I was like, "Yo, like, did Nipsey Hussle just die?" Like, I asked with a question mark, and everybody's like, "What? No." 5 minutes later, it was stamped and confirmed that he really died. And once again, like, I was shocked. And me personally, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say like I was a big Nip fan and this, that, and the third, because I wasn't like big on his music. Like, I didn't listen to all his projects. I didn't really do that much like research as far as into his music. But I was well aware of his knowledge, and I was well aware of his of the path that he was taking. And I was already I've watched plenty of interviews and stuff like that with Nip. I just didn't dip into his music that much, but I always respected him, and I once again I was shocked with that one too. But Juice WRLD hit personally because I really was
related to him.
I was really heavy with Juice WRLD. I really was.
What's your take on drugs and hip hop? I mean, people come at me a lot for saying this, but I mean, I feel like that's what hip hop is. You know, as bad as it sounds, you know, hip hop artists, they're from a certain community, they're from a certain area, and that's what comes with it.
And I can touch on that and say that hip hop has always been a form of black expression, and I think with the black community since the 80s has been infested with drugs. So I think like it's kind of a blurred line on, you know, with people saying, oh, you can't glorify drugs, you can't glorify this, you can't glorify that, but it's expression. You can't tell any rapper how to express themselves, especially if that's their life. That's what they're doing. That's all they know, you know? And I think like, me personally, I don't have a problem with it because like, being a Juice WRLD fan, I knew Juice WRLD was doing all those drugs. Either way, he wasn't about to talk me into doing anything I didn't want to do. You feel me? So I charged it to the game. I listened to the music, and even the new song Bandit that he dropped, talking about being on Molly and feeling like a savage. Like, I bumped that song and I say every lyric. I know I'm not about to take no Molly.
No, but you explained it perfectly earlier. You said he understood what the people want to hear. And as much as we're in denial about it, we don't care that these artists are rapping about drugs. It's just when something tragic happened. everybody wants to be the one that's like, oh, drugs should have been this.
Yeah, I'm
and that in
bigger than
hip-hop.
this. I'm, you know.
No, at the end of the day, when that song comes out in a club, you're not saying, man, why does artist keep rapping about drugs? Why he keep rapping? You don't care.
You don't.
We fake care on the internet to make ourselves look like we're better than everyone else.
Exactly.
But no, this is a part of their life, like you said. This is a part of his life. This is this is a community that he grew up in. This has been a part of hip hop in general for like years.
I guarantee you, anybody who said that still bumped Molly Percocet with Future.
Oh man, people
And that's
just
not
be
even the
funny
name
on
of the song,
internet.
I know, but he literally saying Molly Percocet,
Yes.
Molly Percocet over and over again. And that song was fire. Every time that song came on, it got bumped. Every time.
We fake care. We're giving the energy to the wrong thing. One of my favorite things Lil Wayne said back in the days, Wayne used to walk around with a cup. And people were like, oh, Wayne have drugs in the cup. Wayne have alcohol in the cup. And Wayne was like, he finally like got a interview and they asked him about the cup. It was like, so everyone wants to know what's in your cup. It's my favorite thing someone ever said in life. Wayne said, it's crazy that you guys are worried about my cup. He was like, it's in my cup. You're the one that's worrying. Whatever's in my cup, you don't know what's in my cup, and you're spending your entire life worrying about what's in my cup. I'm just living my life. I'm living my life. I'm living free. I'm living healthy. You're stressing out, worrying about what's in my cup. That hit me differently because we worry, we stress our life worrying about what someone else is doing.
Exactly.
And when that's affecting you, stress is a huge thing. That rapper is living free. You don't know what they're doing after. You don't know,
Exactly.
you don't know what Future can rap about drugs, but he's at home just sipping water. I mean, it's Future, so I'm lying. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like we need to stop worrying too much about whatever the artists are doing in their life and just enjoy their craft, enjoy what they're putting out there.
And if it doesn't rock with you, then don't bump it.
Don't bump it.
Don't
You're still
bump
gonna
it.
bump it.
Don't
then
bump
just shut
it.
up and enjoy the music. But before we get out of here, is there anything you're working on? Any new project that you got coming out?
Yeah, I got a couple singles that I'm lining up.
Ooh, do we get any exclusive? Do we?
Actually, I'm actually recording a music video this weekend. So I'm gonna have some new content coming very, very soon. And I actually performed at Willie P maybe about two
weeks
and a half,
ago.
two weeks ago. It was something like that. And I did all my new songs that weren't even finished. I didn't even.
Right.
And the crazy thing is about that one was that like it was at Wild 'N Out, and it was an event where the cafeteria was pretty packed.
Yeah, I saw some Snap stories. People were going crazy when you were performing. I
Yeah,
saw
and
that.
the crazy thing is, it was kind of a rough start because I get on there and you know I start to do my thing and I see everybody like kind of like sitting and like you know just being corny because you know in college a lot of kids swear they're so cool. And whenever they go to events they're like too cool to get involved.
Yeah.
And I've been there, I get it, but like. Throughout the whole event, like they're doing all these fun activities and they're cracking all these jokes and like the crowd was like really, really stiff. And it was kind of bothering me how like you come out and you're gonna spend your time at this event for such and such hours and you're gonna act too cool to be involved in it. Like, come on, bro, you're here. If you were too cool, you wouldn't even be here, you know? So
Spend money.
exactly.
There are certain places where, come on, man.
Yeah.
Really?
So exactly. So I kind of came on the stage and. I think I kind of said something like towards that nature at the beginning, but like it came off kind of aggressive. I didn't mean to come off like that.
Right, pissing people off.
Yeah, I did piss some people off. Some people like heard it and was like, "Fuck him anyway,"
who's
and got
this
up
nigga?
and kind of walked out. But like as my music was playing and as I was going and doing my thing, people
started getting
started
into
coming
it.
back in. Like people were coming back into the event and was actually giving me my respect. So it was kind of dope.
It takes one person, as stupid as it sounds, but it takes one person to just do something and everyone else gonna follow.
Yeah.
No one wants to look like the dumbass.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's stupid to me. It's like, if you enjoy something, you're already out here. You pay to be here. Just enjoy it and have fun.
Exactly, just have fun.
You won't look like a clown, nothing. Everyone else is around you is doing the same thing. So why are you afraid to?
Exactly. Just be yourself. That's one thing you want to take from this is just be yourself. And go 100 at being yourself. And I promise you, you'll be happy. Because like right now, I graduated. My life isn't the greatest, but I'm happy that I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm happy that like I'm on the path that I want to be on. So that trumps almost everything, you know. Any type of bad news that happened to me, even like when I mentioned earlier about like relationship issues and stuff like that. Even when stuff like that happens, like I don't even get too down on myself because I'm still happy that I'm here and I'm happy that I'm in the position that I am.
All right, man. That was a great conversation. Thank you again for stopping in. Is there any last minute thing that you want to let the people know?
Definitely SmokeNH. You can follow me on Instagram, Smoke_NHS. I got new music coming out. Cozy in the Heat EP is on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, anything, you name it.
Get that. All right. Thank you guys for listening to Class Session. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel at School of Entertainment TV. Once again, thank you to my guests. Thank you, King, for stopping in.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anything you want to let the listeners know?
Definitely, man. You know I got my degree, so I came to class, I kicked ass, and I passed.
Bow.
Stay in school.